What's up? My name is Chad, and I am a gear snob. My name is Chad, I'm in Beneath Vultures, and this is where I hoard all my gear. Okay, I have to be very quiet because my family's upstairs sleeping, and actually my doggies sleep here too. Say hi, Zipper. Say hi. So, I don't really have any reason to be doing this video other than just sometimes it's fun to play with equipment. Inside these doors is my music studio that I've been working on for the better part of probably 2 years. I mean, including the doors themselves, actually, the flooring, everything. You know, I've kind of built everything from the ground up. So, figured why not take a look and see what I'm working with, have some fun. All right, let's take a look. Now, I'm sure the first thing that you're going to want to take a look at is my bargain bin 1-inch foam that I got off of Amazon. It's a work in progress. Honestly, this is just because I'm dealing with some issues with a little too much reverberation, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to handle that. In the meantime, I do have true Orlex on the walls just to tame some of the mids and highs that I'm having some problems with in this room, as well as bass traps in the corners. Those are true, you know, Owens Corning hand-built in the upper corners, as well as those on both the rears, as well as up there, and I've got some clouds up at the top. Oh, and those are my gears from one of my early videos that I made. Those are pretty neat. I decided to hang on to those. So, sound treatment, work in progress, but, you know, it is coming along. Okay, let's start off with my drum set. This is the Alesis Strike Pro. This thing is beautiful in a small home studio. So many options. It's just, it does everything you want it to do. Now, there is some controversy around how stable it is, and, you know, some things break here and there. And some of that I have seen firsthand. Some of it is just kind of like, okay, well, you know, it depends on how you treat it. But either way, it is, for the price, phenomenal, and it's a great addition to a small home studio like this, especially one that takes itself a little bit more seriously and wants a lot more versatile options than either, you know, programming drums or whatnot. Ooh, let's do the fun part. So my guitars, starting with my Ovation. It's an Ovation, it's an acoustic, it does the job. I'm not a big acoustic player, but also it's never caused me any problems. A lot of people seem to have problems with Ovation, or they seem to not like them. I dig them. I've always liked the sound of them, and they're comfortable to me, so to each their own, I guess. Next up is my Ibanez SR305, and this thing sounds much better than my 405 that I had a few years back, and I don't know why. It just sounds better. It's a little hissy in the pickups, which is why I picked up these, and I do plan on putting those in at some point in time soon. Next up is my Dean 850X 8-string. This one's kind of funny. So I did a review on the DiMarzio deactivator pickups, and I think I kind of went through the guitar itself a little bit. Quality control's really bad with Dean on these lower quality guitars. I've had 2 of these after having to send the first back, and it's still not quite right in the neck, but it's pretty close. It's close enough for the little bit that I actually end up using it. And the DiMarzio deactivators, they sound pretty nice and punchy, though not quite as powerful as my EMGs, given obviously that those are passive pickups. Next up is my LTD MH 1000 something or other like that. It's one of the newer models. I just got this the other day. It's beautiful. I love it. Look at that finish. Oh, it's gorgeous. Floyd Rose original, and the neck could be a little bit darker. I'm not crazy about the light colored rosewood, but these days it's getting really hard to nail down rosewood period anymore. So, you know, you get what you get. Jumping over here, actually, I've got its brother, the EC1000. This is actually my only electric guitar that has a fixed bridge. I'm just not a big fan. I've always been a fan of Floyd Rose. I'm comfortable with setting them up quickly, and once they're in, you know, it's really hard to get them out of tune. Love it. I will say that my my MH 1000 comes with Grover tuners, and these are just the normal LTD tuners, which they're decent. They're locking tuners and stuff, and they seem to serve the purpose. Especially doesn't matter on my other EZ1000 here that is also a Floyd Rose and obviously has a locking nut. And I've had this one for quite a while. The finish is still gorgeous, love it. And then my MH350 FR, which is kind of like my low-end backup guitar. But my goal here is to just kind of have 2 E tuned or 2 higher tuned guitars and then 2 B or lower tuned guitars, just to kind of fill out the spectrum. And yes, whether you like EMGs or not, I don't care. I like them. They give me a lot of nice punch, and I've got them in all my guitars. Love it. Next up, we've got some amps. Yeah, this is my Positive Grid bias rack, which eventually I need to do a review on this because, man, I've got a crazy story. The Korg Pitch Black is my go-to tuner for any kind of live stuff. I love it, but I don't like it in the studio because it does color the sound a tiny, tiny bit if you run direct through it. So I usually run a separate line out to it when I'm using it anywhere outside of a live performance. And then your basic Furman power conditioner, all running through a Mesa 412. Yeah, this is out of place. So I didn't buy this. I'm not a trash picker, though I don't have a problem with the idea of, you know, finding a good piece of gear and just grabbing it if it's getting thrown away or something like that. That makes perfect sense. In this case, I wasn't looking for this. This was right down the road from my house. I was driving by and someone had this out for free, and I looked at it and actually drove by and then stopped myself, backed up, and it looked in decent enough shape that I figured out, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. So I get it home, and come to find out, the thing is basically brand new. As far as I can tell, somebody just probably had it sitting in their house and just had no reason to have it, so they just got rid of it. They probably could have got 100, 150 bucks out of it or whatever, but okay, well, it works perfectly. It sounds like a Spider, so take it or leave it. But, you know, it's my Spider. Okay, let's get over to the recording equipment. I run KRK Rocket 8s for my primary monitors, and I actually got these as well for just a secondary monitor. And those do really come in handy when I'm really not sure if I'm nailing it on a mix. I do spend some time toggling between those two sets of speakers. Down here, I've got a Behringer Ultra Patch Pro and a Composer Pro XL compressor, which I use once in a blue moon. I can't remember the last time I used that, honestly. It really probably needs to go. Down below that, I've got a first gen Scarlett 18i20, which is awesome, except for the fact that the software absolutely sucks and they barely ever update it. And that's a constant point of contention. Now, I will say that with all of this, my favorite feature has been using the patch bay as a way to sort of quickly jump between recording my guitar live and then going back through reamps. So this is my guitar line for live recording, and then I just pop that out and pop this into an instrument right there, and then I can rerun my reamped guitars, which is, let's see if we can get this in here, probably not. Yeah, there we go. Run my reamped guitars back out through my rig and tailor my sound exactly like I like it, and it's beautiful. It saves so much time. Down here, I've kind of rigged this up to where I've got a quick pull out for my HD 500X. I do have some software that I'll use on occasion if I'm doing recording and I want to get a little more fancy with effects, but this is a great baseline that I start with. And then in here, just some junk. And here's where we start the chaos. So I try to keep this stuff as organized as possible, but you know how it is when you get this much equipment in such a small space. I try to keep my cables separated out and all of my, guitar gear in certain bins, as well as my drum gear in separate bins and whatnot. And up here, this is a unit that I really want to spend some time talking through at some point. I've got this for live rigs for both handling automated lighting as well as handling backtracks or external tracks that we're going to be sending out to front of house, as well as having, signals that'll go out to the band. And of course, this is something that's a little cobbled together and probably could be a little more professional, but I really like what I'm able to do with this because I can, have some automation for home video recording stuff, as well as take it out to a show if I needed to have some supplemental stuff for a small gig and I still want to, have a good production. And over here I have some Dmx Lights and a camera slider that is electronic, so it can kind of give me a little bit of camera movement if I don't have anyone to run camera for me. This is all pretty much video equipment. The smallest guitar in the world. I'm kidding, it's a case for my gimbal. All right, moving over here. This is all just hardware. Nothing of interest. Getting into some more chaos here. All my patch cables and connectors go right there. Some music video paraphernalia from previous videos. I do plan on putting all my stickers on something at some point. I don't know what to do with those ever. You guys tell me. More camera equipment, power adapters, headphones, you name it. More chaos down here. I don't even know what's in there. Lighting stuff. And moving on to my command center. But first, let's talk about the computer. So this is my i7, 16 gigs RAM, something like that. I eat, sleep, live technology when I'm not doing music at my job. So the last thing I want to do is spend a lot of time working on or talking about computers. And this more than does the trick for me. And that's all I care about. As you can see, I care a lot about cable management though, because I don't need any more chaos in my life. I already have enough above the desk. So this is where I do all my work. And I made it look like I'm actually doing something, which is probably not true. But this is a project I think I've been working on for about a year and a half or something like that. Just kind of getting it to the point where we're probably going to be releasing it fairly soon. The Xenix Control 2 USB is probably my favorite little toy that I have in my home studio because it's just so useful. It's got talkback, so I can send it out to my vocal booth. It's got, just basically controls for every source, incoming and outgoing. Everything gets fed into this, so I just have a central point for managing all my signals. M-Audio key station. I pretty much use it half the time as a place to stick my food while I'm working on songs. This is a fun little addition here. It seems silly, but I get so tired of toggling record, stop, undo when I'm working on music that I wanted something that was dedicated. So this is just a mappable, programmable keypad. Okay, a couple quick little random things. First of all, I can never keep this area clean. It's always chaos. I deal with it, whatever. I've got a little hum eliminator there because I've had some problems with my live rig when I'm playing around with it here. I've got a sub under there that I use once in a blue moon just to check low frequencies. I don't really use it on my mixes per se regularly. When it comes to lighting, hey, you're not on. Okay, so I try to keep lighting available and ready at any time so I don't have to spend a whole lot of time setting up stuff. Okay, and completely out of sequence, I forgot to mention that I've got this tennis ball drum riser. This is kind of like what you see a lot of people on YouTube building when they want to reduce vibrations traveling to the floor and cut down on noise, really, especially in apartments and whatnot. This is a standalone house and I don't have any reason to be doing that other than just trying to be a little courteous to my family, but I think it almost creates more rumble than just having them directly on the floor and just having a little thud. So that may not stay around. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I do want to show my sound room as well. And this is, I have to go out to my garage and it's freaking freezing out here, but we'll just pop in there real quick. So I did build this from the ground up, and I actually have quite a bit of info on it on my channel. So if you haven't seen it and you're interested, by all means, go check it out. So this is my sound room. It is pretty damn soundproof. I mean, reasonably so, considering the depth of the walls and whatnot. It's got full control of my computer right from here. It's got my Rode NT1, decent little mic. It's got, you know, auxiliary lights and stuff like that. Exhaust, I don't know if you can see that right here, but you can definitely see it down here. I've been getting a lot of requests to properly do a walkthrough of this, and yeah, I need to, but also it's damn cold and it's winter, and that. So at the end of the day, the reason why I put all this together is because, and the reason why I have so many guitars, and the reason why I have all this equipment here is not because I'm looking to, you know, just equipment hoard or because I have an obsession with equipment. It's because I got so tired of spending so much time trying to get an environment ready for me to record something or to write or whatever the situation. My vision was to have things ready to go, and it has worked wonderfully. I've been more productive in the past 6 months than in probably the past 6 years. Coming in 2020, you're going to see a lot more releases because that's not just a, you know, wish of mine. I've got it done already. You know, I'm already in the process of mixing things and prepping videos and whatnot. So that's all going to be coming out here pretty soon as a result of all of this. And yes, it was pricey to get all this set up. You know, I definitely lost my ass on a couple of these purchases, but overall, it's been well worth it, and I'm really happy that I just bit the bullet and spent the money. So hope you guys enjoyed checking it all out, and if you have any questions or criticisms of my choice of guitars and drums and whatnot, hell, leave them in the comments. I'll fight with you.